Smash that like button if you would rather cash in your Money in the Bank briefcase on a World Heavyweight Championship and fail to win, rather than cashing in on a mid-card championship and fail to win it and ruin your life like Austin Theory.
I guarantee you this, if Austin Theory ever gets released, Chris Van Vliet will interview him and ask him, why did Triple H bury you every year the moment Vince McMahon left the company? Hold up. Even back in NXT, the black and gold NXT, Austin Theory was a fucking jobber. So for the past 5 to 6 years, this kid has been a jobber. Okay, let's cross out the Vince McMahon years under Austin Theory. Let's cross that out. Every year, this man has been a jobber, a joke, a low-tier mid-card guy under Triple H. My question is, why? This guy has a great look. You would think he has everything that Triple H wants in a fake pro wrestler. He's over 6'2", he's over 220, he's very athletic, he has a great look, he's a bodybuilder, just like Triple H, and he's a good promo. He has charisma, he has stage presence, he knows what he's doing in the ring. So why is he a jobber? Why did Austin Theory get sent back down to NXT? That's a downgrade, because who goes from beating John Cena to jobbing out to Jey Uso in 1 minute? In 1 minute, a multiple-time U.S. champion, a former Money in the Bank winner, he jobs out to Jey Uso in 1 minute just to further his storyline with Gunther the Ringerlel. That's a travesty. I don't get it. Triple H does not like him. So here's my question. What did Austin Theory do to Triple H? I don't get it. How come I'm the only guy on YouTube who cares about Austin Theory? How come I'm the only guy who talks about Austin Theory? This man has been buried under Triple H. Austin is a young talent, so there's no excuse. I don't get it. He's no longer a kid, right? Austin is a grown man. He's a veteran. He's been here for the past, 7 years? A long time now. I'm sorry, it's over. I thought Triple H was trying to build up Theory into becoming the next Daniel Bryan. This is not right. Austin Theory should be a main eventer at this point. This kid has paid his dues, right? It's like, Triple H, you embarrassed him. You embarrassed Austin Theory. This guy cashed in on a mid-card championship. What was the point, right? Because why didn't Austin Theory cash in on Roman Reigns? Nobody will care, right? Nobody would have cared if he cashed in on Roman Reigns, because nobody in The Rock means nobody believed that Austin Theory was going to beat Roman Reigns. So having him cash in on Roman Reigns, that made the most sense. We all knew he was not going to pin Roman Reigns. We could have just moved on from Austin Theory cashing in. But why embarrass him? You embarrassed him as the owner of the company. You embarrassed him as the booker. Triple H. I'm talking about Triple H. Why the fuck would you have him cash in on Seth Rollins, the U.S. champion, and have him lose? What was the point? That was a statement. Yes, that was a statement to Vince McMahon to say, Theory, he ain't shit, and I'm going to bury him, just to prove to Vince McMahon Austin Theory ain't shit. Because, wow, take your pick. Would you rather fail a cash-in on Roman, the world champion, or Seth Rollins, a mid-card champion? Which would you choose? I would choose Roman Reigns. He's the biggest star of the company at that time. So it made the most sense for Austin Theory to cash in on Roman. Okay, if he fails, cool. We will move on. He would not be embarrassed. Not one person walking this earth said to themselves, Theory will beat Roman Reigns. Hell no. But the fact that Roman also buried Austin Theory on the microphone, after Vince McMahon left, Roman said, Daddy is not here to help you. I'm like, wait a minute, fuck you, Roman. I'm like, hold on, Roman Reigns. You are the last person who should be calling Vince McMahon daddy for another man. Because, bruh, for the past 8 years, you was shoved down our throats thanks to Vince McMahon. You was Vince McMahon's favorite fake pro wrestler on the roster. So how dare you tell Austin Theory that your daddy is no longer here? You are saying that? I'm like, wow, that's how you know Vince McMahon was no longer with the World Wrestling Federation, and Triple H told Roman Reigns to say that because that line was fucking stupid. That's like the definition of an oxymoron. The most overpushed guy in World Wrestling Federation history telling Austin Theory that Vince McMahon, his daddy, is no longer here to put him over. You are saying that? Wow, man. That promo was awful. But the fact is, Roman did somewhat bury Theory in that promo. Now, let's go back to when Austin Theory got embarrassed by Seth Freaky Rollins. The next day, I told people he's done. He will never recover. People told me that I was wrong, right? Remember when Austin Theory won back his U.S. Championship? People thought, you know what? He did recover. I'm like, no, he did not recover. That was called damage control, right? Here's what I mean. Everybody was trashing Triple H when he made Austin Theory cash in on a mid-card belt and fail. Triple H had major heat that night. He had major heat all week long. So this was his plan for damage control, to have Theory win back the U.S. Championship. Man, I'm like, no, Triple H, I ain't dumb. That's called damage control. And then Triple H made Austin Theory get rid of his selfie gimmick, the same gimmick that Vince McMahon gave Austin Theory. So he tried to make Austin Theory a serious badass character. And guess what? It failed. Because for some strange reason, Triple H stopped pushing Austin Theory. The moment he gave him that serious gimmick, I told you he was going to fail, and I told you that that was damage control. This man never had any plans for Austin Theory. But my question is why, right? He has everything you want in a fake pro wrestler. He looks like a fake pro wrestler. He's jacked up, great look, tall, great promo, charisma. What else do you want from Austin Theory? How come he's not a top guy? I don't get it. Why is Austin Theory a jobber? He is a legit jobber. Losing to Jey Uso in 1 minute from a sloppy-ass spear, that's called jobber status. And the fact that Jey Uso botched a top rope senton onto Grayson Waller in Theory, what does that tell you? Austin Theory lost to Jey Uso in 1 minute? A guy who's botching spears? A guy who's botching top rope sentons? Man, I'm sorry, but Theory, he's buried. He's never going to recover. All my videos always age well. I was the first one to tell you that Theory, he's done. He will never be a star under Triple H. That cash-in was proof. You don't recover from a failed cash-in. Nobody does. Ask Baron Corbin. Nobody fully recovers from a failed cash-in. Now, let's talk about the match between John Cena versus Austin Theory. I was the first one to say that Theory should lose that match and get humbled and chase John Cena all summer long and then get back his belt at SummerSlam. But that did not happen. That was great booking, because what did that win do for Austin Theory? Yes, he beat John at WrestleMania, but what did that win do for him? Nothing. That win did nothing for him. 2 years later, he's losing to Jey Uso in 1 minute on Raw just to further a bigger angle between Gunther and Jey. That's embarrassing. He's done. He's done. He will forever be a jobber in the World Wrestling Federation, even though I think he's the most talented guy on the roster. Both rosters, SmackDown, Raw, he's the most talented guy on the roster. Okay, even John Cena buried Austin Theory in that promo on Raw. So I said, you know what? I think John should beat Theory for the U.S. belt and then have Theory win it back later on at SummerSlam. I felt like that was the best option. Let's humble Austin Theory. Let's make him realize he's not on the level of a John Cena. Not yet. That was great booking. But for some strange reason, he beats John. But why? That win did nothing for him. Imagine John Cena beating Austin Theory for the U.S. belt and humbling Austin Theory. That would have been a great angle. Okay, let's go back to Austin Theory's run on the black and gold NXT. Triple H, man, he really hates Austin Theory. This man paired up Austin Theory with Indy Hartwell, boring ass Johnny G and his wife. I think they were called The Way. A boring ass cringe faction. He turned Austin Theory into a goofball. Literally, he turned Austin Theory into a goofball. Him and Johnny G had a father and son bond. I'm like, huh? Bruh, that's a grown ass man. He can beat the shit out of Johnny G. So I'm like, bruh, this is a bad faction. It makes no fucking sense. Why are you making Theory into a goofball? So that's why Vince McMahon called up Austin Theory and turned him back into a heel. A badass, obnoxious heel. That's why Vince McMahon gave him the selfie gimmick. Because when Theory was in NXT, Triple H buried his character as a goofball. So yes, you can make an argument that Vince McMahon saved the career of Austin Theory. I mean, in hindsight, yes, Roman Reigns was right. Vince McMahon is no longer here to save Austin Theory from the wrath of Triple H, a guy who hates Austin Theory. Triple H doesn't like Austin Theory out of pure jealousy. Here's why. When Triple H was the same age as Austin Theory, he was not on the level of Austin Theory. And I think that eats away at Triple H. Facts. That eats away at Triple H. The fact that when a young Austin Theory first got signed to the World Wrestling Federation, I think Triple H was jealous. When Austin Theory first got called up to NXT, he was better than a young Triple H at that age. That's facts. Go back and look it up. Go back and watch the 1995 Triple H. Go back and watch the 1996 Triple H. Theory was better. And guess what? That eats away at Triple H. Who's better? The WCW Triple H or Austin Theory? That's my point. When Triple H was around 25, 24, 23, he was not at that level of an Austin Theory. And guess what? He knows it. That's why Austin has been buried for the past 5 to 7 years. First off, this guy was buried by Pat McAfee, and he was buried by Rocky Maivia on SmackDown. I don't care how many views that clip got on social media. Who cares? What has Austin Theory done since being buried by Rocky Maivia and Pat McAfee? Nothing. I don't get it. So LA Cosplay, he gets a monster push, but not the young Austin Theory. Make that make sense. Who's your future? Theory or LA Cosplay 5 years from now? Why are you pushing LA Cosplay but not Austin Theory? That makes no sense. That's called a grudge. That's called spite. That's called jealousy. He doesn't want to prove Vince McMahon right by pushing Austin Theory as a top guy. Let's be honest. Theory should be our new Randy Orton. That's my point. Austin Theory should be pushed like a young Randy Orton. Why is he a low-tier mid-card guy jobbing out? This is the equivalent of burying a young Buff Bagwell. That's who Austin Theory is. He's a young Buff Bagwell. He has major upside. It's just Triple H hates Austin Theory. I feel like Theory has been here long enough to challenge for championships. He's been here long enough to challenge for World Heavyweight Championships. Is there a strong possibility that Austin Theory gets released this year? Yes, that is a strong possibility. Do not be shocked, because that's not good. So far, he's been buried by Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, Jey Uso. This man has been called back down to NXT. Bruh, that's a bad sign that someday he might get released, maybe this year. But knowing Tony Khan, he might sign Austin Theory because he's not too big, but he's not too small either. So he's right in the middle, right? So I feel like Tony Khan would sign Austin Theory. Tony Khan signed Isaiah Swerve Scott, the same man who was a washout with Hit Row. So don't be shocked if Tony Khan man does sign Austin Theory just to prove Triple H wrong about Austin Theory. I believe that's the best case scenario. This man needs to be released, but that's a good thing because Triple H doesn't like Austin Theory. So he needs to move on to maybe TNA or NWA All Elite Fake Pro Wrestling. Mostly All Elite Fake Pro Wrestling. I think Conman would push Austin Theory. Why not book Austin Theory versus Will Ospreay? I think Tony Khan would push Austin Theory. Like I said, he's not too big and he's not too small. He's right around the middle. Triple H has no plans for Austin Theory. It just feels like he puts him on TV just to embarrass him. He puts him on TV just to have him job out. That's the only thing that Theory is good for under Triple H, just to job out. I don't get it. Austin has never had a bad match in the World Wrestling Federation, so there's no reason for Austin to be a jobber on the main roster. This guy has never had a bad match. I also blame the fans. You brainwashed Triple H into burying Austin Theory. The same Austin who you say, oh, he's not ready. I'm like, hold on, man. Make up your fucking mind. You want the main roster to push young talent, but at the same time, you don't want Austin to be pushed because he's too young. Make up your fucking mind. Because Triple H loves to push men over 40 years old. So please, make up your fucking mind. When Vince McMahon was in charge, he was pushing older wrestlers. And guess what? Usain Marks had problems with his style of pushing older guys, right? But he was trying to push Austin Theory, a young guy, and you rejected Austin. Make that make sense. Like I said, I feel like Austin would be perfect for All Elite Fake Pro Wrestling. He would be perfect for TNA, but mostly All Elite Wrestling. Let's book Austin Theory versus MJF, or Isaiah Swerve Scott, or Dean Ambrose, Edge, who else? Powerhouse Hobbs. There's people on that roster that would have a great feud, a great match with Austin Theory. And also, Austin is a great fake pro wrestler. He can go in the ring. So, under Tony Khan, I think Conman would be a big fan of Austin Theory based on his look and his skills in the ring. All right, how about this? Austin Theory reminds me of timeless big booty Toni Storm. Remember, when Toni Storm was on SmackDown, she was a jobber. Let's be real. Toni Storm hated the World Wrestling Federation, hence why she left. Look where she's at now. Why can't that be Austin Theory? Vince McMahon had no plans for big booty Toni Storm. Triple H had no plans for big booty Toni Storm. That's why she left. She felt out of place in the World Wrestling Federation. But Tony Khan signed her, and look where Toni Storm is at. That female is a big time star. Why can't that be Austin Theory? I think that's a great comparison. I think if Tony Khan signs Austin Theory, he will be a megastar in All Elite Fake Pro Wrestling, just like Isaiah Swerve Scott. How about Danny Garcia versus Austin Theory? How about Jay White versus Austin Theory? He has tons of matchups in All Elite Wrestling if he were to sign there.